guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the pay to win account and we're looking at the final chapter when it comes to our tier stones. This time we're looking at the Stone of Mastery. This is the tier stone that you use to upgrade your intelligence heroes, which we're going to look at in just a moment. We're going to go through the list of which ones that I really prioritize, and then I'll show you the method that we prioritize them. So it's interesting to see because looking at intelligence and looking at casters, this is a pretty short list. We use Ions in there. We use Oden in here. Pippa does find some place in some parties. We have Skarath as crowd control. Pippa's crowd control. Flora for a stall team. We do have Kazard and Mahira for some. Overall, we don't use that many casters, which is pretty interesting to see. So let's go ahead and get into the list. Number one being, of course, biggest priority is Ions, guys. He was the number one hero that I maxed out. He can put out so much damage. He can kill the entire team. Use him in the campaign, solid formation with Arthur. I use him within a lot of the labyrinth runs when it comes to going through the Voyage of Wonder, when it comes through the Peaks of Time, running him in combinations. I even run him through the entire Misty Valley, guys. He is that strong. He just ults and destroys everything. Majority of the time when he ults, 2-3 targets die, giving him almost enough energy to ult a second time. Furthermore, with the Windbinder artifact, it just makes him a big priority to build right off of the bat. So following him up is Zafrio, guys. Zafrio is a hero that does a ton of damage, does a lot of damage in PvP, has crowd control, has stuns, but a lot of players don't build Zafrio. Reason is there's not very many formations. He does work in a couple niche formations, but overall, he does well with the stones and it gives him a solid boost, but a lot of players don't build him up very fastly. They build Flora. So Flora really big with the stall team, again, prioritizing with those tier stones, allowing her to do more damage with crits. When she does more crits, she has haste reduction, which is really strong, allowing the team on the ground to survive while she does massive damage from the air. If you're anyone who has built Flora, you know that she is devastating when it comes to the damage that she can put out with a stall team. That is the reason the entire team exists, is for Flora, guys, which is why she is a big priority. Next one we look at is Oden. He's a hero that never really did anything with. Nobody ever built. He gets a rework. Boom. He is it, guys. With that 9 of 9 furniture, with the plus 30 signature item, he destroys teams so fast. He has an energy disintegration. He's got a displacement. He can steal an entire bar of energy from a hero that was going to ult, and he does massive damage, which is why he is really important to build when it comes to the overall damage of heroes. Next one we look at is Kazard. He's one that I focused on as well. Building out Kazard has a couple benefits. So he does do a considerable amount of damage. He has multiple forms of crowd control, but the big thing is he can increase the duration effects of enemies that are already on all the negative debuffs, increase the duration. So when you look at a hero like Mahira, when it comes to her mesmerize ability, it can increase the duration. 60% is a massive, massive increase to the duration for any of the negative things that are affecting the other team. Next one we look at, of course, is Mariel. Mariel's a hero that we've seen in some campaign formations. We've seen her used a significant amount in the Twisted Realm, but as far as the casters, that really rounds out the damage. Again, when we look at the casters in general, a majority of them you're not going to utilize when it comes to damage. You know, Sophia kind of falls far down the list. Shamira's a no. Lorzen, the shielding aspect of it can do a little bit of damage. Isabella possibly for the tower. Belinda not as much. Skarath for crowd control. Overall, don't know about Taylor right now. We're still kind of sidelining her, seeing exactly how effective she's going to be. But you also have to remember is with the intelligence comes the casters, guys, the support class. So looking at the support class in their priority, we have number one coming in at Merlin. Guys, Merlin is absolutely phenomenal. We have started building him out with his gear. The survivability, even if he takes fatal damage, he comes back alive. He can support and hold up entire teams with the ultimate ability and massive damage mitigation, Merlin is a priority when it comes to the support, followed by Silas. Silas is another hero. His heals are based on his attack rating. So the higher that you get his attack rating, the stronger the heals are going to be for him, which is going to be reliant on him getting that tier 3 gear, really increasing the amount of healing that he can do, and also increasing his survivability, which helps out a ton. And then, of course, his counterpart, which is Desira. Desira is another hero. She has a slower heal form that a lot of players don't like, but when it comes to healing, if you can get that Oceanic Mist up and get it up on a consistent basis, it does provide a massive barrier. But if any of the allied heroes are going on the enemy side, it is not going to reach them. It is not going to reach them fast enough to make a big difference. But also with the support is we do have a couple other heroes like Tassie. Tassie is another hero that is really good. Tassie does a considerable amount of damage, and she has a really strong debuff with that teleportation ability, which allows her to build out, to really maximize her damage. She does have to have that tier 3 gear, but as support, you want her there as support, and that is really what she does, guys. Then, of course, we have poor Nimisu. Nimisu's a healer that, or a support that really tries, but he does bring a haste buff, which is really strong. And he is the only one that we have for the Mauler faction. So if you're using him in the Mauler tower, he does have haste. He does have totems, which are a solid distraction. But so overall, guys, looking at the casters, Ainz, Zafrio, and Flora, Oden, Kazard, Mariel, definitely solid in there. Looking at the support, we have Merlin, Silas, Desira, Tassie, Nimisu in there. Rowan is another hero that really doesn't require it. Rowan has his own damage mitigation with his damage control ability. Actually passively keeps him alive. If you're using him maybe as a solid pseudo tank, you can go ahead and build him up. But ultimately, he really doesn't need it because he has that damage control ability, which allows him to mitigate a lot of the damage. All right, so let's look at how we build them, guys. So this is just important as the heroes that we have. So we use Silas for an example. The first thing you want to build when it comes to these are the boots. The big thing here is the crit. They not only does it give more attack rating, but it gives crit rating, which is very strong when it comes to building out a hero. Again, most of these are casters that we're putting the stones on first because we're relying on the damage that they create to go ahead and kill out teams very quickly with this crit rating that is on there. Following crit, of course, is the weapon. Just like we talked about a little bit ago, it does give a considerable amount of attack. When it comes to the caster classes, you want more attack. When it comes to heroes like Silas, more attack is going to allow him to do more healing. HP defense also does increase survivability as well as some physical resistance in there to make sure he is alive. Next one we prioritize is the helmet. So a little bit different here. It does bring just a small bonus to attack, but this one brings magical resistance, which is pretty strong, especially if you have heroes that are taking damage from casters themselves. So we kind of tier down the list. Again, a little bit of attack. Last one, just like most of them, is the chest piece. Big thing with this, short of being a tank, is HP and defense are good. Physical resistance and magical resistance are good as well. But if you have support heroes that are taking damage, majority of the time they're dead, especially if you start getting into the level deficiencies. It's not going to make a big difference when it comes to the stats on the chest for the intelligence, especially when it comes to casters. So when you look at casters themselves, some of the more powerful casters, if we're leveling up the chest, it's not going to be that big of a difference when you're building them up to the tier 3 stones here, which I'll show you on Oden. So we'll go ahead, we'll just enhance this up to our 5 stars to unlock our stone. Again, with the exact same thing. So HP defense can help a little bit with survivability, physical resistance, magical resistance, exactly the same. Not a priority at all for this, just for the simple fact it is not going to help you really win battles. In a majority of the time, if Oden is taking damage, he is going to end up dead more than anything else, guys. So a very short list, and it's interesting to kind of split it between, I mean, the tanks and strengths are usually around the same. You do have a blend of warriors in there. When it comes to the agility, most of the agility heroes fall into the celerity tree. But when it comes to the casters, we have both the support and the mage tree, which is kind of torn between them both. I would prioritize mages, and a lot of people have said that when you're looking at the intelligence heroes, when it comes to tier 3 stones, guys, prioritize the mages first that you're going to utilize, because they are reliant on the damage to win the battles. Crowd control, the enemy's not doing anything. You have to produce enough damage to go ahead and burn down targets in a very efficient manner. So guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is the third and final guide for this little mini series here. Make sure you check it out. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.